Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fataris' Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fataris. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this week we have Sonic Wings Reunion. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. From developer Success, Sonic Wings Reunion released in May of 2025 for the PlayStation 4 and 5 and the Nintendo Switch, which is the version we're looking at today, though only in the Japanese regions. The international release for the consoles will come in October of 2025. It did release worldwide for the PC via Steam. This title is a fun vertical scrolling throwback to a different era, though it is a bit on the easier side. I've really enjoyed my time with the game, but unfortunately it's one I can't recommend at its current price point. Even if you're a fan of the Sonic Wings franchise, I would definitely recommend waiting for a sale to pick this one up. Now with all that said, we find ourselves at the main menu, so there is a training mode that allows you to explore the stages in greater depth, but for the most part we're going to be playing the game in arcade mode. Once you select arcade mode, you're taken to your player count. You can either play one player or two. For our purposes today, where the game does support two players simultaneous, that is how we'll be showing the game off for you today. Selecting two players, we're then taken to our difficulty selection. As I mentioned, the game is a little on the easier side, so we'll be playing it on normal today. After selecting your difficulty, we're taken to the player select screen, and here's where the game starts to get really fun. So if you've played previous Sonic Wing titles, you have an idea of what to expect. Initially, we have 8 characters available, and then there are 2 unlockable characters. Each character has a unique plane associated with them, as well as unique shots, unique bombs, and there's also these dialogues that you'll get after each stage and a special ending for every character and every combination of character. So with the number of characters we have here, there are a total of 55 different endings you could potentially get. So that's a lot of replayability. And you don't just have to play the game co-op to be able to get the co-op endings. It is possible to select a wingman if you're playing solo, and in addition to be getting those dialogues, you'll also be able to use the other player's bomb as your own should you choose to go and use that one. So that is a neat little element of strategy. For our purposes today, we'll be showing it off with Glenda and one of the unlockable characters, so there is a little bit of a translation error here. So when you unlock this character, their name shows up as Komomo, and also if you have the Japanese turned on, it's also showing as Komomo, but here it says Kotomi, so do keep that in mind. So once you lock in your characters, you're dropped right into the gameplay itself. So the game plays out over 7 stages with a bonus stage, and your first 4 stages will be of a random order, all based off of geographical places within the world. So for our purposes, we went and drew stage 1, Barcelona. So as with previous Sonic Wing titles, there are the destructible enemies and buildings on the ground, so the collateral damage in these games is always nuts. And when you destroy those ground enemies, you have point items that come up based off of the currency of the area that we're in, so in this case Euro. We also sometimes have buildings which will attack us, like the Sagrada Familia going and firing missiles at us. Taking that out, we go and proceed on the rest of the stage. So as far as what we have here gameplay wise, Sonic Wings is your typical vertical scroller. This one's definitely a throwback in that we only have 2 real attack options. We have our primary shot and we have our bomb. And as I mentioned, each character has a unique bomb. So for Glenda here, for example, when we use her bomb, we'll see the A10 go and like spin up, then drop a bomb on the ground. Whereas for the Aosagi, it's a short-range punch that deals quite a bit of damage. So each stage is actually very much on the short side. After a short burst through the stage itself, we'll quickly find ourselves at the end of the stage, and even playing on normal, especially when we're playing 2-player, we'll get through the stages very quickly as most of the bosses don't have a lot of life. There are no HP bars or anything for the boss. You'll just kind of see damage on there. And then after you complete the stage, you have a summary that gives you points based off of your performance on the stage. And now we have the dialogue that I was mentioning that happens between characters. So in this case, Momo's looking for her sister Kotomi, and we have the other characters reacting to that and see with her as far as the dialogue is concerned. Most of them are just really short and kind of just really kind of throwaway silly, but that's one of the things that I do go enjoy about it. Now we move on to the next stage, this one being Abu Dhabi. And once again, you can see here that you've got the unique currency of the region going and showing up there. So let's talk a little bit about the power-ups. So we do have power-ups that are available. Your shot can power up a total of basically 3 levels. You start at like a level 1, and then you can go up to level 4. However, in level 4, your shots will decay in terms of power, and you'll be back to your like level 3. However, if you pick up another power-up while you're at level 4, then you actually get a score ×2 bonus. So if you're looking to score attack the title, you want to be able to time and chain those power-up pickups so you can maximize your ×2 points as much as possible. Though really the biggest points you're going to score from the game is if you're able to 100% destroy the enemies for the particular stage itself, then you're rewarded with a ton of points. So this boss here is 2-stage where we destroy the cannons at the front of the stage, and then we have the turret in the back. Once that's destroyed, that's the end of the stage. Then that's one thing I do want to go and talk about. So there is a little bit of slowdown that's present and visible on the Nintendo Switch version, specifically in this stage where you've got the transparencies there, and then there's a little bit going on with that as well in one of the later stages. And that's the basis for Sonic Wings Reunion. So really, like, the game itself is really awesome, and I appreciate that you've got connections to other titles as well. The Ao Usagi, the unlockable character that we have there, is from another Video Systems title, Radio Repus. So I really appreciate having see that little bit of a cameo appearance, and it just helps like fit in with the game itself. The overall look of the title is a little bit on the flat and disappointing side. I don't feel like there's as much character with the 3D as there was with the pixel art of the titles from the 90s, but it is nice having like a new Sonic Wings title as is. So as far as the minus flavors are concerned, the biggest one really is the price. They're definitely asking almost double, in my opinion, what I feel like the game is really worth, given the gameplay that's here. Although there is a lot of replayability here, the game itself almost kind of has a budget feel to it, so having the price point be where it's at is a little disappointing. In addition to that, as I was mentioning, like the graphics of for lack of a better way to go and describe, just kind of come across as feeling really flat. And this boss here is a perfect example of that. The pixel art of the originals definitely go and show a lot more personality, in my personal opinion. So with all that said, if you're looking to go and pick this title up, definitely wait for a price or drop for sure. The game is also on the easier side, as it doesn't take a whole lot to go and be able to get a 1cc on it with just a little bit of practice and choosing the character that works best for you. And as I mentioned, there's also a little bit of performance issues with the Nintendo Switch version. I'm not sure about the other title versions on the other consoles. But as far as the plus flavors are concerned, so I do really like how it feels like a throwback to a different era of vertical scroller, where you have those like shorter stages, you have a vertical scroller that's not really a bullet hell, more just a straightforward old school shoot 'em up. And with all that, it just comes across as fun. And then you have all the different characters, the interactions with the bizarre world setting where we have the buildings of the areas that we're in going and like taking off and attacking us. All that just really fits with the whole Sonic Wings franchise, and it just feels like nice to go and kind of revisit some of those elements, even if the rest of the package doesn't quite live up to some of the nostalgia of the previous titles. And really, at the end of the day, this one really is a solid vertical scrolling shoot 'em up. So if you're looking for a more classic experience, then this is one that I could recommend if it was at a lower price point. So at this point, I can definitely recommend it if you wait for a really solid sale, regardless of how long that might go and be. And with that said, we find ourselves at the end of this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. as always, we want to thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a wonderful week yourself, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.